students, I'm Aanchal Sharma, your educator. In this video, we are going to discuss about another novelist and her name is Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. Today we're going to discuss about her. This is the picture of Chitra Banerjee. So Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni is an Indian-American novelist. She was born in India, but she's settled in America now. She's an Indian-American novelist who was born in 1956 in Kolkata, that's in India. After receiving her graduate degree from Kolkata, she migrated to United States in 1976 and in the US while receiving the master's degree, and she did the PhD from there only. From the University of California, she did multiple odd jobs with it to meet the expenses of her education. So she has always been someone who has struggled. She met her own expenses for the education, and she completed not only her master's degree from the California University, but also completed her PhD. Recently, she is a well-known novelist. She is also a poet. She is a writer. She is a professor of creative writing program at the University of Texas, right? So this was something about Chitra Banerjee. Her works are very much explorative in nature. They are very different. She tries to write on the lines of magical realism. That's a very post-call theme itself. And she writes about the historical fictions also. That means she typically uses the history of our country and mold it in a beautiful manner. She has some magical realist qualities in her writings also. Her works, she strives to explore complicated identities of the diaspora community because she herself is a diasporic originated person. She is someone who is now settled in America. So the effect of diaspora will always be seen in her work. Her novels addresses the notions of multiculturalism, alienation, the voyage to self-discovery. So being a woman, she definitely writes about the women identity. She will write about the women characters, and she uses the methodological works also. So she'll use the story from the primitive text. For example, she has taken the help of Ramayana and Mahabharata also, but she is going to write and rewrite these texts on the basis of the perspective of a woman. So what is the thing that she is doing? She is going to play with the words. She is going to show the perspective of Sita and Draupadi to be more important than to show the perspective of Ram, right? So she's not focusing on men now in her novel, but she is writing all of these novels from the perspective of women. Because earlier it was also seen that writing is the domain, or creating history is the domain of a male only. What is the word history? See the word history. This means his story. So here the word his, that means it is the male-centric domain only. But now she will she will just do away with all of these conventions and will write her story. She will write the story of the women. She'll write the story from women perspectives. Also, you will always find the touch of multiculturalism and magical realism in her stories. There will be effect of alienation and the pain that women used to feel. Most of her novels are modeled on the experience and the struggle faced by the middle class women who feel very dissatisfied and alienated and incapable to share their own feelings. So someone like Draupadi, someone like Sita, they were actually going through a lot of trouble, but no one considered their perspective. Each and every, how history is created, everyone placed blame on these two important figures, but no one paid heed to what they thought. So it is Chitra who will write the stories. She will write her story now, not history. So there are elements of historical fiction, there are elements of magical realism in the works of Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. Now there are a few works that are important. The wealth of her work to date includes about 4 poetry collections: Dark Like a River in 1987, The Reason for the Nasturu Trimmers in the 1990, Your Black Candle. These are the poems from women from India. Then Pakistan and Bangladesh. Then we have The Leaving Yuba City in 1997. Then we have two short story collections like these are Arranged Marriage in 1995, The Unknown Errors of Our Lives in 2001. There are 5 novels that are important also. The Mistress of Spices in 1997, The Sister of My Heart 1999, The Wine of Desire 2002, The Queen of Dreams 2004, and The Palace of Illusions 2008. Right, so these are few important works. In the course of the video, we'll look at the names of the novels as well, and we will discuss the summaries also. So for the young readers, Divakaruni has also completed 4 sets of novels that are set in India only. These include Neela. This is the Victory Song that came out in 2002. The fantasy trilogy is also there, and they can also ask you about this fantasy trilogy. This consists of the novels like The Couch Bearer in 2003, The Mirror of Fire and Dreaming in 2005, and The Shadowland that was in 2009. Right. Let us move forward. These are few fictions that are important, as I told you. Arranged Marriage. It is a collection of short stories that came out in 1995. Then we have The Mistress of Spices, 1997. The Sister of My Heart, 1999. The Uncommon Errors of Our Lives, 2001. The Wine of Desire, 2002, The Queen of Dreams, 2004, The Lives of Strangers, 2007, The Palace of Illusions, a novel. You should also know the full name and the full title of the books. It came out in 2008. One Amazing Thing. It came out in 2010. Then we have the other works like The Ordered Girl in 2013. Before We Visit the Goddess, 2016. The Forest of Enchantment, again an important work in 2019. The Last Queen, that is written, very contemporary work, 2021. And Independence, a novel in 2023. So you should know these works. All the least important works, the most important works should be, at least you should know the names, and somewhat the dates, the publishing dates should be clear to you. So Arranged Marriages, this is a work that came out in 1995. So Divakaruni's collection of short stories, Arranged Marriages, it came out in 1995. It investigates what? It investigates the life stories of different women. So it investigates cultural dilemmas through a feminist point of view. So there are a lot of multiculturalism and the themes related to multiculturalism, but the perspective will always be from the woman. So from the feminist perspective, she is looking at the changing culture, changing multicultural society where we live in. There are about 11 short stories in the collection, and these are about Bengali migrants in the United States. So the theme of diaspora is also very prominent. The effects of westernization on the Indian marriage institutions became the theme of these stories. The female characters of these stories are the narrators, they are the protagonists. Some of the immigrant brides get freedom and the others are caged up by the cultural restrictions. So some can get freedom, but some are caged in the restrictions. They are doubly oppressed there. Yes, because of the marriage as an institute, and also because of the diasporic conditions, because they are not able to come into terms with the westernized culture. They are not able to accommodate. They are not able to go towards hybridity. Right? Homi Bhabha talked about hybridity. What is hybridity? You come to terms, you come into terms with the other culture. You try to amalgamate with the other culture. You try to westernize with the other culture. Right? So we all know Jhumpa Lahiri talked in greater detail about all of these things in her works, right? She was also a writer who used to talk in greater detail about the diaspora. The novel Namesake is a very good example of this thing only. What is diaspora? Diaspora literally means the dispersal of the seeds, right? It came from this ancient word, diaspora. That was dispersal of the seeds. Here, the diaspora means that like the dispersal of the seeds, we are dispersed around the world. And wherever we go, we are always longing for the homeland. We are somewhere new, but we long for the land we have left. So there is always this nostalgic feeling that you always take with you. So this is a global cosmopolitan world. Wherever you go, you leave some part of you, you take some part of something with you as well. So these are the basic themes. Hence comes the feeling of alienation, the feeling of getting entrapped, and the cultural restrictions can also be something that can make the women claustrophobic, right? So these stories explored their journey to achieve emancipation and how some cannot achieve emancipation while some can achieve. Then the novel, The Mistress of Spices, 1997. In her novel, The Mistress of Spices, 1997, you will find that the diasporic conditions are very important. They are the theme, and also magical realism is a theme. It is a story about this spice bazaar or shop owner, and her name is Tilo, who falls in love with another American man who lives there. But of course, she is not allowed to love. She is not allowed to, explore her bodily pleasures. This is a story. These are the themes around which the story regulates. So, her novel, The Mistress of Spices in 1997, explores the diasporic conditions amid a multicultural backdrop. The novel profounds the deep-rooted multiculturalism in its portrayal of cultural diversity. The novel talks about hybridity, racial tensions, and the theme of alienation. So that means diasporic elements are also there. The central character of this novel is Tilo, and she is an immigrant from India in Oakland, California. She owns her own shop named as the Spice Bazaar. These things are important. She helps her customers to satisfy their needs. They don't even tell her which spice they want, but she already comes to know about these spices, their own desires, their charms, and this is very much clear to her only, right? So she helps her customers to satisfy their needs and desires with the charms and the spices. As soon as the customer enters her shop, through her magical powers, Tilo is capable of knowing the urges of her consumers. So she is a magician. As soon as the person enters into the shop, she is very clear which spice will be correct for them. The minor characters in the novel are the Indian immigrants, varying from the wealthy people to the struggling masses that live there. Because in the shops that are selling Indian products, you will find Indian people only going there. So there are few minor characters that are there. Tilo tries to build a bridge among the different cultures and finally ends up discovering her own self. So gradually, she tries to know about her own self. Then there is another novel by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, and this is called as The Queen of Dreams. The Queen of Dreams, it came out in 2004, which tells the story of a daughter from an immigrant couple who has settled in California and the desires to raise their child as an American, shielding her from their own past in India. So this is very much like namesake only. We see that there are these two couples. They are the first-hand visitors. They just settled in California. But we always see that the second generation suffers a lot. So the first generation are trying to accommodate. They always go with the hybridity mode, but it is very difficult for the second generation Indians to survive somewhere outside because they have the cultural differences. They see their mother and father holding on to different cultures that they have left, that was India here, and living in California, she'll see the other culture as well. So she will be smashed between these two cultures, and there will be so much identity crisis that would happen. Similarly, Gogol suffered with this kind of problem. He was very dissatisfied why he was called as Gogol. He never understood why his mother is always following her culture, why she is not able to leave behind the culture. These are the problems that the American people faced at that time. The Indian American used to face that, especially the second generation. So this is how they don't want her to know about their past, and now they're shielding her, and they are living in this new country, California. So Rakhi, their daughter, is a young artist living in California. She is the divorced mother struggling to ascertain her own livelihood in the hostile world. And this novel also talks about the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center. The racist assault following the incident is also depicted in the novel. So this novel talks about the historic incident of 9/11 and the racial assaults that happened at that time. Her mother is a dream teller. Again, you will find the touch of magical realism here, with the ability to share and interpret the dreams of the other and to foresee and guide their own fates. So her mother is nothing but a dream teller, and she tells the future of someone else. This is also something that is very problematic for Rakhi. Her mother's gift of interpreting the dreams attracts Rakhi, but at the same time it isolates her from her own mother and from her own mother's past also. Caught between this burden of adversities, caught between this life, living in this no man's world, Rakhi finds solace only after her mother dies. She finds out that there is a journal. She discovers this dream journal of her mother after her mother is dead. Rakhi attempts to trace the roots. She will trace the roots, knowing little about India, but she will be surprised of the horrifying past that was there. The painful history of her own life will shake her to the inner core. This is the story. Then we have The Palace of Illusion, 2008. So taking us back to the time that was half history, half myth, of a wholly magical best-selling work, Chitra Banerjee shows us the world of Panchali. So her name is Draupadi. We know this story is based, and it's a retelling of Mahabharata. We have Draupadi there, the wife of the 5 Pandavas. But here the name Panchali is used. So I will also refer to Draupadi as a Panchali only. What is the meaning of Panchali? The wife of 5 people. She was married to the 5 Pandavas. So she is depicting the story of Mahabharata with few details that are used by Mahabharata, and there are other details that she has added. The whole novel is told from the perspective of Draupadi, someone who was not heard before. So we are all well aware about the story of Mahabharata, but some interesting aspects that are added here are what? The inner conscious of Draupadi or inner conscious of Panchali, and also how she at the end, she will directly meet Karan at the end in the heaven. So nowhere in the Mahabharata do you find that Draupadi, after going to heaven with the 5 husbands, meets Karan again. But Chitra will change the ending, and in the ending of this novel, we find that we see Panchali with Karan at the end, someone whom she found very attractive and very nice in the very beginning of the novel, right? So this is how she retells the very vibrant tale of Mahabharata, the epic saga. So taking us back to this time, Chitra gives voice to Panchali, the fire-born heroine of Mahabharata. Here she weaves this vibrant retelling of this ancient epic saga Mahabharata. Married to the 5 royal husbands who has been cheated out of their father's kingdom, Panchali aids her quest to reclaim their birthright. Remaining at their, she's trying to remain at their side throughout. She is also suffering with them. She is going to different places. She is even they even try to rape her. So there are a lot of incidents similar to Mahabharata only that would be told, right? So she will go with she will be remaining with them through the years of exile and the terrible civil war that would happen. But she cannot deny her complicated friendship with the enigmatic Krishna. So she has a complicated friendship with Krishna, or her secret attraction to the mysterious man who is her husband's most dangerous enemy. And he is none other than Karna. So we all know that Karan was the friend of what? He was the friend of the enemy of Pandav. That is, he was the friend with the Kauravas, right? So that is why he was the most dangerous man to whom she can find herself attracted to. As she is caught up in the ever manipulating hands of the fate, we see how she is suffering. So this is the cover, the Palace of Illusion. It takes us, let us just quickly see what are the basic things that are happening in the novel. So of course, this is similar to the incident that we see in Mahabharata. Initially, we see that there is Panchali. Panchali is now there will be Swambar of Panchali because she has attained everything. She was born with her brother, but she wanted to do what? She was very profound in the different kalas that were required by a girl to learn. She was extremely good with dance, with singing, etc. But what she wanted the masculine energy that her brother had, right? Gradually we saw that there will be gradually we see that there will be Swambar for Draupadi, or you can say Panchali here, and we know that it is already fixed that it will be Arjun who will win her. But when in the Swambar we came to know that the Pandavas could not come there because their palace was burned and all of them have died. But we all know that they are not dead till now. They are hiding and they were present in the Swambar only. So we see this in this novel also, that there is Karn, and the Panchali would be very attracted to Karn. Just in the moment when she will see Karn, she will be very attracted to that man. But she knows that he is someone who is from the lower status, someone who is raised by a charioteer, someone who is not aware whom his father is. So she cannot marry him. Gradually, we'll see that she will become the wife of Arjun, and Arjun has to share her with the other brothers also. So she will become the wife to all the 5 men there. Now the novel will take us in the inner psyches of Draupadi or Panchali here, and will tell how she was feeling when she was in bed with these men, right? So then we will discuss that how she still thinks about what happens and what her life has come to. Again, we'll see that there will be one palace of illusion that would be built, and there she will laugh at the Kauravas, and this is how the civil war would happen. And this is how we have seen that in the history, all the problems that happen are blamed on the women only. So Panchali was the one who was the one who was cautioned there, that why did she laugh at Karan? Why did she laugh at Karan asking whom his father is? And she laughed at Duryodhan as well. So these were the few incidents that you will see. But at the end, of course, we know that what will be the culmination of the war, the civil war would happen, and of course the Pandavas would win. That the Pandavas, because they used to love Krishna so much and they were deeply attached with Krishna, they will all go to heaven. Chitra now changed the ending of the story, and here you see that at the end we have Karan and we have Panchali who will go together at the end in the heaven. They will meet again in the heaven, which is not the case in Mahabharata, right? So there are few details, and of course she has written the novel from using the perspective of Panchali only. The inner psyche of Panchali is revisited here. So this is broadly the story of the Palace of Illusion. Then we have Before We Visit to Goddess. It came out in 2016. It is sweeping across the 20th century story, and it's about a countryside of Bengal, and it tells the story of 3 women, Sabitri, Bela, and Tara. It's about the 3 unforgettable women. This novel is about their journey. Then we have The Forest of Enchantments. It came out in 2019. Now this story is a retelling of Ramayana and is a very interesting story itself. So Ramayana, one of the world's greatest epics, is also a tragic love story. This story is brilliantly used by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, and she places Sita at the center of the novel. This is a Sita's version. In this novel, we see that it is Sita who in the prologue is given the pen a red pen to write her own story? Do you think why do you think red pen was given? Red pen itself marks the territory of the woman. It can also be a indication of her being married. It can also be a symbol of vermilion. It can also be a symbol to her menstruation. So there can be a lot of other themes that you can attach to this symbol. So a red pen was given to her in the prologue to write her own story. And this story is a retelling of Ramayana, where Sita's version will be heard. She will tell how many things she has endured and how much she can endure these things. There is always a limit, and she will attain that limit, and ultimately she will just leave the life of Ram. We all know that what happened in Ramayana, similar incidents are told, but here all of it is told from the perspective of Sita. The Forest of Enchantments is also a very human story of some of the other women in the epic also. So there are other women in the epic who are often misunderstood, and they are relegated to the margins. They are left unheard. They are also heard here. So we have Kekai, we have Srupnakha, we have Mandodari, as these three women are also being heard in this novel, right? A powerful commentary on the duty, betrayal, infidelity, and honor. It is also about women's struggle to retain the autonomy in the world that privileges men only. Women have no right. As Divakaruni transforms the ancient epic into gripping commentary of the battle of wills. She will tell us the story of betrayal, infidelity, honor. She will tell all of this from the perspective of women, how it is only men who are given the power. But right now we have the red pen in the hands of Sita. While Ramayana resonates even today, she makes it even more relevant than ever thought by underlining the questions from the novel. What are the questions? The questions are like, how should women be treated by their loved ones? What are their rights in a relationship? When does a woman need to stand up and say enough? At the end of the novel, after Sita has proved her chastity a lot of times, she is again asked to give the final test, to jump in the in the fire. But now she says enough. She has done enough to show her chastity and her love for Ram, but she cannot take it anymore. She knows she does not have to, she says that I won't shout, I won't cry, I won't beg, but I will simply just go, because this is enough. I have already proved my love and my chastity a lot of time, and this time I am done. I cannot show my love anymore. So this novel is a gripping tale of all the pain that is endured by Sita. Hence we see that this novel is depicting the voice of women, and of course juxtaposing it with the male-centric world, where the power is always in the hands of the men only, right? So this is how Chitra Banerjee uses the different works, the different ancient sagas, recreate them. Hence her work use the three broader themes, like your multiculturalism or diaspora is being used. There is your historic fiction is an element that is used, and of course there is magical realism that she keeps on using in her novels. So I hope you like the video. I try to explain the stories in greater detail. If you have any doubt, you can write it in the comment section and I'll surely reply to you. Thank you.